What's up, guys? This is Seville. Today, instead of another review, I'm actually going to talk about plans for the future. Recently, I've come up with a new set of guidelines that will dictate the format of all reviews for the foreseeable future. In this video, I'm going to define those guidelines and then explain how those guidelines turn into a 5-star rating system. Also, I will provide examples of each rating level based on previous reviews. So the system I've come up with is a series of 10 questions that can only be answered with a yes or a no. Some questions will take into account the facts about the figures, while others may be purely subjective and just my opinion. And of course, the level of importance that I put to a question may not be the same as you would put to the same question. For instance, I think articulation is very important. So for me, the question is, does the figure have at least 20 points of articulation or more? So again, these are only yes or no questions. Therefore, 19 points is not good enough to earn the yes. The next question is about sculpt detail. Is it more than just a smooth, flat surface? Does it have areas that are raised or layered to mimic the clothing? My preference for textured figures is why I tend to lean more into the movie styles rather than the comic book styles. After that, the next question is about the accuracy. Are the colors in the sculpt true to the character? If it's based on a particular actor, does it look like them? If it's Captain America, does it look like Chris Evans? Or if it's Superman, does it look like Henry Cavill? No matter the actor, does it capture their likeness? That is the question. Next, I want to consider the uniqueness of the figure. So many characters get made over and over again each year. Sometimes with nothing changed more than a paint job. In other instances, old parts from other characters can get recycled into new characters. I've seen this happen a lot, especially with wrestling figures, more so in the women. I've had several where you can tell the new paint lines do not match the old sculpt lines. And to me, that kills the look of the figure. Another thing that might kill it for me is the scale of the figure. Does the size of the figure match others in its line? If one character is supposed to be 5 foot tall and another character is supposed to be 6 foot tall, can you see that difference between the two figures? If not, then at least one usually doesn't look right. Next up is fragility. Is it sturdy and not too easy to break? Some of my figures are up on high shelves. I don't have any sort of front guards for these shelves, so sometimes when the figures fall over, one or two may spill off onto the floor. And I personally don't want a figure that's going to break the first time that happens. Of course, one of the things that leads to the figures falling over is their balance, or a lack thereof. So the question then, is it easy to keep the figure standing in multiple poses? This problem can stem from many things like loose joints, especially an ankle or the waist where it might fall over, or maybe the accessories are really too heavy for it to hold. Which leads to the next question. Does it come with at least one accessory or more? I started to think maybe 2 or 3 accessories would be a better number to judge by, but really, some characters only need the one, like maybe Charlotte from WWE and her robe. Besides that, once you get to the point of having more than 1 to 3 accessories, there's a good chance that the price is going to go up. So the next question, is the suggested retail amount adequate to the apparent value? If it's a Marvel Legend, is it worth the $20 price point? If it's a NECA Ultimate, does it have enough going for it to be worth $30? Then you have the imports that can be $50, $60, sometimes even $100 or more. So is it worth that price? And finally, the last question deals with the accessibility. Was this figure readily available at the time of purchase? With Toys R Us going out of business soon, this question is only going to lead to more and more no's. I personally like to be able to walk into a store myself and grab the new package in my own hands, rather than risk getting one in poor condition through the mail. So once I have answered those 10 questions, for every 2 yeses, I add 1 star to the rating. For me, An odd number won't round up to the next star. It must have 2 to get that next bump. So if it only answers yes 3 times, it's still just a 1-star figure, which by my definition is terrible and not worth owning for any reason. However, it is highly unlikely that I'll ever actually use this rating. I cannot currently think of any figure I would definitely give this rating to. Usually, the worst rating I would ever give a figure would be 2 stars. To me, that means it's okay, or worth owning as a child's toy. The most recent example of this rating I can think of is the Power Rangers Legacy Tyrannosaurus Deluxe Dinozord. If you'd like to hear more about how I came to this conclusion, check out my full review in the description below. Next, we have a 3-star rating, which is good or worth owning for a diehard completist of that franchise or line. My most recent example of this rating comes in the form of Hit from Bandai's Dragon Stars series. I think he's made well enough to fit in with the line, but he wouldn't be very good standing on his own. Next up, we have a 4-star rating, which for me means it's awesome and definitely worth owning even for the casual fans. Good examples for this one would be the horror characters from the NECA Ultimate line, such as Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, and the newly released Leatherface. And finally, we have a 5-star rating, which means it's amazing and absolutely worth owning for all collectors of that franchise. For example, if you like WWE, then you definitely need some flair in your collection. To see a full review about why I like this Charlotte figure so much, check out the link in my description below. With all that said, you now have a full understanding of how my reviews will go from this day forward. On top of that, after watching this video, maybe now you have a better understanding of why I like the figures that I do. You can now see what features are truly important to me and kind of the order of their importance. So, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and comment below. Then if you want to see more from me, starting with the Marvel Legends Scarlet Witch and Vision 2-pack, please subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.